Do you ever wish you could undo the past? Unfail your finals, unsprain your ankle, unjoin the mob? We've all been there. But in this life, we must live with our bad choices. Well, unless that bad choice was, I don't know, ordering a $370 bounce house because you dream of endless water fun, not to mention a perfect dinner party with friends, but you ordered it at 3 a.m. and when it arrives you realize that 1, you're too old to use it, 2, you're intimidated by the ripped gorilla, and 3, you don't have a dinner party's worth of friends. Unmaking that bad choice is usually both frictionless and free thanks to what's known as the reverse supply chain, or the massive, sprawling industry that exists to handle returns, exchanges, repairs, overstock, and all the other bits and bobs floating around the late capitalist reject bin. Wrong color, doesn't fit, won't turn on, toss it in a box, slap a label on, drop it off, goodbye forever. In 2022, the good people of the US of A returned a total of $817 billion worth of stuff. That is twice the GDP of Malaysia. That's pretty huge. Really makes you wonder what they're doing in second Malaysia. The general online shopping return rate is estimated around 20%, though it varies by industry. In clothing, for example, it can be as high as 40%. I mean, even the writer of this video, who's really on her high horse about not using Amazon, made 5 purchases there this year and got refunds for 40% of them. And no, I don't know why she needed 2 alarm clocks, 12 combination locks, and a bag of stackable cats. My best guess is women be shopping? And even though consumers seldom pay for them anymore, all those returns are expensive. If you're returning something heavy, the cost the seller takes on to ship it back where it came from, then to wherever it gets resold, refurbished, or burned for fuel can be higher than the cost of just letting you keep it and cutting your losses. In the mattress industry, where you can't resell anything, they still offer returns even though it eats up nearly 10% of their sales. So why do companies take such a huge loss on returns? Well, because ours is a world of commitment phobes, and companies that don't cater to that pay a higher price than ones that do. In a 2018 survey, a hilarious 69% of online shoppers said they'd feel less inclined to buy if they knew they had to pay for return shipping. So no returns, no customers. That's why the reverse supply chain is so big, but how does it actually work? Naturally, it varies by retailer, but for the sake of this hypothetical, we're going to say that you're returning a UPMSX portable blender to Amazon. Assuming they actually make you send it back, you drop it off and never think about it again. But now, the fine UPMSXians at UPMSX have to make a choice. They could do 4 things with your blender, and when there's 4 possible paths, you enter, you guessed it, the blenderverse. Blenderverse 1, return to seller. This one's what you'd hope happens to most stuff. UPMSX gets their blender back, finds that it's completely functional and unopened, and says, hey, we can just resell this bad boy. So Amazon ships it out again next time someone, possibly you as you're terribly indecisive, buys it, and 1 in 5 chance re-returns it, at which point it might head to Blenderverse 2, disposal. This is both what it sounds like and not what it sounds like. Amazon would like you to know that they don't send anything to a landfill, though their middlemen definitely do. But disposal doesn't just mean landfill. It also covers recycling or burning it for fuel, that wasn't a joke before, or on the less upsetting side, donating it. Donation is only an option for US-based sellers, but those who choose to do it send their stuff to a network that distributes it to charities. But somewhere between destruction and do-gooding, there's Blenderverse 3, FBA grade and resale. This is an exclusive, invite-only option that UPMSX may or may not actually have, but here's how it works. FBA, which stands for Fulfillment by Amazon and not, as I'd assumed, funky blender adjudicators, will take a look at your blender and grade it on a scale from new to acceptable, and then sell it on to Amazon spin-offs like Warehouse Deals or Woot. This universe is all well and good, but it's 2 things I don't like: invite-only and sort of blasé. So let's hop over to Blenderverse 4, liquidation. This is where they throw all the blenders in a bigger blender to make blender juice, which will help you get ripped for summer. Okay, that was a lie. Liquidation is instead a weird cousin of an option that only gets the seller about 5% of the resale price for the product, but if you don't want to send it to the eternal flame, this may be the best option. In this universe, your blender gets bundled with all of UPMSX's other excess inventory and sold to a liquidator, whose job it is to figure out how to make money on it. Some of them repair the stuff, fix wonky parts, remove stains, all that, then distribute them to secondary sellers like outlet stores or flea markets. Sometimes, if the repair is too complicated to be worth it to the liquidator, they'll sell the broken things even further downstream, like to a guy in Alabama who buys and fixes busted air conditioners and sells them locally. Or sometimes they just bundle massive amounts of random stuff and sell it for 15 cents on the dollar on an auction site, and we're not going to spend too much time on the auction sites because HI Topics have been taking me on a lot of auction sites lately, and I really can't afford to— ooh! A miscellaneous palette of electronic communication network consumer goods? I've got a— no, I won't. They don't do returns anyway. And so ends our tour of the blenderverse. If this all sounds a little wasteful or overcomplicated, that's because it is. The returns industry keeps a lot of people employed and some stuff from going to waste, but it'd be a whole lot simpler to just not buy stuff that you don't need, because the best way to undo the past is to redo the future. Ooh, that's good. I could sell that on a mug. Did someone write that down? Now, short little knowledge nuggets like this can actually be super impactful to the entire course of your life. The problem is that getting those knowledge nuggets can be tough. You often have to read an entire book, which is great, but for many people, very hard to make time for. And let's be honest, even once you do, it's really hard to maintain focus with today's attention spans. But our sponsor, Imprint, is a new way to learn. They offer bite-sized courses that you can easily fit into your day. They're designed to be super digestible, and with their highly visual style, they help you stay focused and engaged so you actually remember things long term. And they offer these courses on a huge range of subjects, both ones you should learn for the impact they can have on you personally, like health, wellness, self-help, philosophy, and more, and ones you might be interested to learn for personal or career growth, like business, finance, science, technology, history, and more. Basically, Imprint is a way to use your screen time in a far healthier, more productive way, which is perhaps why they have over 30,000 5-star reviews on the App Store. So if you want to start learning in the small moments of your day, you can head to imprintapp.com/HAI to get a 7-day free trial, and the first 200 subscribers will also get 20% off an annual membership.